Hey, good evening. My name is Letitia Griffin, and I am here for another week to talk to you about your finances, your debt, any types of issues that you may be having. And so, if you've got any questions, anything that you've been through, feel free to give us a call. 312-738-1060. I am here to answer your questions. And now, if you do not feel like calling in, you kind of shy about going on air, totally understand that. You can also reach out to a certified counselor at Family Credit at 800-994-3328. Get all your questions answered. So again, 800-994-3328. So if you've got any questions, like I said, feel free to call in. So today we're going to talk about a few things. We always want you to feel empowered and just take control of your personal financial situation, because everyone's situation is different, right? We all go through struggles. We all want things out of life, and we all have goals that we feel that we want to reach. So I want to help you get there. And, if there's anything that I can do, that the counselors can do, they're on standby. You can talk to someone about those problems that you may have. Also, I do want to just advise you, go ahead, go to the website, familycredit.org. It's a great tool. You can actually talk to a counselor. So I want you to know that that is available for you as well. So we're talking about budgeting today. We'll also talk about credit, a little bit of savings that I want to throw in there. And then we'll see, we'll even hopefully get to talk about your goals. But first, we've got our first caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, what is the fastest way to get out of credit card debt?
Okay. Well, the fastest way to get out of credit card debt is actually first to make your mind up that that is what you're going to do. Next, you want to set a plan on how you're going to do it. So a lot of times we think, okay, I want to get out of debt. Basically, I don't want to pay these bills. It's too much. It overwhelms me. And so there's a lot that you have to think about as far as that goes, but you have to plan out how you're going to get there. So one of the things that makes it easy, one of the tools that are available, Family Credit that has available for you, is Personal Finance Made Easy. And if you actually just take a look, it's on the website, familycredit.org. You can go to Personal Finance Made Easy and look at setting up a plan on how to get out of debt and how to take care of your finances. So this encompasses a lot more than what's here, but also it really is up to you. If you do not know where to go for help, Family Credit is the perfect place to go. You can talk to someone. You can download the Personal Finance Made Easy course, or you can just sit down, diligently look at your debt. And we'll talk about that in a second on how to do that correctly so that it benefits you. Because like I said, the number one way for you to get out of debt first is to have the mindset and the goal to actually do so. Then after you got that together, you need to take a look at your finances, at your budget, and know what it is realistically that you can do to get out of debt. So a lot of times people are struggling. When you think about the bills that you're trying to pay, a lot of times, yes, we are paying our bills to live, such as our rent, mortgage. We've got, car note that comes up. But then we also have other things that attack our budget. So we know we've got those things that will always, always, always be the same amount every single month. And we know that we can plan for them, such as like the mortgage and the rent. Those are not going to change. If you've got a car loan, that's not going to change. So if you're looking to get out of debt, one of the things that you can do is even target, let's say your car note is one of your largest bills. You know that you're going to have this car note for maybe like 5 to 7 years. If at any point in your budget you feel that you can pay more towards it, then that just helps get you out of debt sooner. Even on your mortgage payments that you're making, it doesn't take much for you to reduce your debt. It's just that knowing the amount that you can comfortably put towards it. So also think about those things. So we think about our fixed expenses. Then we want to think about those expenses that can vary. So we've got expenses that we have each and every single month, but they can be different amounts, such as your utilities. When you're thinking about your utility bill payments, of course, we always want to have a consistent idea of what the utility payments are going to look like. And you think about it, you really want to know what it is, but a lot of times we can't even know what that amount is going to be until we get that bill. You think about it, in the summertime, our bills for like your light bill may be a little bit more in the summer because you're using more energy. In the winter, your gas bill is a little bit more. So you have to look at those types of things and take a range. Now, what you can do, you can contact your utility company and ask them what's the average amount that you spend each and every single month. So you can do that. Another thing that you want to think about also is how much you actually put towards those expenses. Knowing how much those bills are will help you figure that out. So if they say that your bill right now could be $100, but on average you spend $70, you know to budget $70 every single month for that bill. Does that mean it's going to always be 70? No, because like I said, this month it could be 100. But if you consistently pay that amount, you should come out on top. And every now and then you can take a little bit extra and put towards that bill too. So that'll help you pay those bills off. You can take that same logic and apply it when you're looking at trying to pay off your medical bills and your credit cards too. It's all about looking at your budget and seeing how much you can afford. So if you know you get paid every single week or every 2 weeks, it's pretty much the same amount. You want to use your base. If you're getting overtime, that's just extra. And if you can, overtime you want to use towards savings or having an emergency fund so that you can put that up and not rely on that each and every single month. But, you know, we're working on paying off our debt here. So we want to look at our budget and see, after we pay our mortgage, our car note, after your rent is paid, after you pay your utility bills, is there anything left? And hopefully there is. But whatever that number is, remember, we still have other expenses that we need to think about. So we want to see what's the minimum amount that we can comfortably afford in our budget to pay towards our debt. So for some people, it may be like $50 a month after you buy your groceries and things like that. For some people, it may be a little bit more than that. You can afford $200 or so. And you want to be able to take that and put it on paying off your debt, paying off your expenses. And the best thing that you can do is write it all out. Map out a plan of action to get you to be debt free. Again, that Personal Finance Made Easy course is a great thing that you can actually do, and you can take a self-assessment and see what's needed for you to be able to make it, to survive and to pay off your debt. Now, you need to have a time frame in mind as well. So if you know how much you can afford, how much extra you can afford, if you know what your bills are each and every single month, you'll be able to come up with a timeline for your plan of action to get you out of debt and get you on track. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, I have a repo on my credit report. I was just wondering, how do I get that off?
Okay. The best way to get a repo off of your credit report is to pay it. Now, that might not seem sensible, may not be reasonable, and for a lot of people, they struggle with what happens after repossession because it's on your credit and it's a black mark. But there's certain things that you can do. First off, we want to take a look at the fact that that repo is on there. There's lots of reasons why your car was repoed, and most of the time it's just that maybe you couldn't afford to make the payment. Now, if at any point before it gets to the repo before it's been repoed, you know you're struggling on payments, it's always best to reach out to that lender, reach out to the auto finance company and see if they have anything that they can do for you to avoid a repossession. Now, some things that they can do, some of the finance companies know that you're in trouble. They may want you to make a good faith payment. So you can make a payment or half a payment to keep you from being further delinquent. Some of the finance companies will go ahead and take if you can make that payment, they may waive the past due amounts, or they will take that amount and put it on the end of the loan and extend your terms. Sometimes they can refinance that loan too. If it's not too far gone, they might be willing to refinance it for a smaller payment to help you stay on top. But you've got to reach out to them first when you know that you're in trouble, when you know that you're struggling, especially if you know that you've always made your payments. Now, again, repossessions happen for lots of reasons, but most of the time when repossessions are there, they hit your credit report hard. So you do want to know how to take care of it. With the repossession, what happens is the auto lender, they will take that car back and they will sell it. And whatever they sell it for, let's say if you got a $20,000 car loan, they may sell that car for maybe, $5,000. On a $20,000 loan, they get $5,000 for that car, and then guess what? you're stuck with the difference. So you still need to pay that $15,000. Yet again, you can work out payment arrangements with them directly to try and set something up. You can look at your budget, see what you can afford to pay. Now, they know that you don't have a car, so they know that you can't really afford to make that same payment that you were supposed to pay before the car was repossessed. So think about that, what you can comfortably afford and what you can negotiate with them. The repossession will stay on your credit report as long as it's not paid, and up to 7 years after that repossession is actually taken place. So if you've got a repossession, you know that your credit, like I said, it takes a huge hit. But it's not the end of the world, because you can work on rebuilding and try and rebuild your credit after that. Look at what you can do, because your goal now that you've got that black mark on your credit is to have enough positives on your credit to counteract whatever negative may be there. And again, your credit report has the history for years and years, but your credit score only outlines the last 24 months worth of history. So if you've got that black mark from the repossession and you're not doing anything to correct it, anything to make your credit better, you have not paid down the debt that you currently had on your other credit cards, you haven't taken care of the medical bills that are on there, if you haven't done any of that, then your score most likely is sitting stagnant, or it might even be getting worse because you're not doing enough to counteract that negative information that's there. You can also, like I said, make payment arrangements with the creditors, set up a payment plan, and if you are able to pay it or pay a large sum on it, you may want to talk about a settlement offer with that lender. Now, what each person or what each institution does is their own practices, so you do need to discuss that with them. If you need help, you can reach out to a credit counselor at Family Credit. And again, 800-994-3328. Go online to the website at familycredit.org. And you can talk to a counselor and ask them about how to handle that situation. So that's the best part. You're not alone. There's help out there, especially if you're dealing with those types of issues like repossession, dealing with collection agencies. Because repossession, it affects your credit. It is a collection, and the collection agencies, they can be quite ruthless. So you want to know how to deal with them. Know that you do have rights and protect yourself against dealing with those collectors. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, I was wondering if debt management or debt settlement is a safer option.
Okay. Well, whether you use, if you're looking for help with your debts, you use debt settlement or debt management, whatever you are looking to do, the key for you is to do your research on it to see whether it will fit you and your situation. Now, with debt settlement, of course, for some people, the majority of the people that it does work for, your accounts do need to be delinquent. I'm talking about seriously gone. You really don't have a credit score because there's so much on there. So what you're doing is actually trying to rebuild from that. But you want to make sure you're doing it right. Do your research with whatever company you are talking about using. Also, with debt settlement, it's something that you can actually do yourself too. So make sure that you reach out and get the right help. You can't talk to the counselors at Family Credit because they know all about it. They can help you with that and help you make the right decision that's for you. Now, what is debt settlement, you may ask? When you reach out to your creditor, you have a collection agency, or you have maybe an old credit card or something that you're not using, not making payments on, and it's a black mark for you, that debt just hasn't been paid, you haven't been able to do it, you can say to the creditor that's holding it, you know, if I know my balance may be about, for example, $300. I have a medical bill, that's $300. But if I give you $200, will you consider this account to be paid and satisfied? That is a settlement offer. That's negotiating a settlement or them accepting a settlement. You should always get something like that in writing. As well, you also want to think about how often you do it too. Because if you've got into the point where you're doing the settlements with the creditors, the collection agencies and things like that, a lot of times you will have to claim whatever part they're forgiving as income. you will receive a 1099 for it. You'll have to claim it as income on your taxes. So you want to think about it. You don't want to overdo it either. But if it's going to help you out of your situation, make things better, maybe an option you want to explore. Again, contact a counselor to find out more about that and the correct way to go about doing it, because it's something that you can do yourself, not something that you need to be taken advantage of or feel like you're just by yourself, because you're not. The counselors are there to help you with that. Now, with debt management, what it is a plan that will actually help you make your payments each and every single month. It helps you manage the debt that you have without adding to it. So with that, again, it's about getting that plan of action together, looking at the bills that you owe, be it collection agencies, repossessions, medical bills, whatever you have going on, credit card companies that you cannot handle. And you look at your budget, you go over your budget with a counselor, and you see what you can afford each and every single month that will help that debt go away over the next 3 to 5 years. Keep that in mind, because, again, they'll help you set up a plan. You can set up a plan yourself as well, and contact your creditors and find out what's the best options for you. Your creditors, they do have programs in place. They are there to help you, but if you don't reach out and get their help, then there's really not a lot that you can expect. And the help is out there. So don't be afraid, don't be ashamed to ask for help, but know where to get the help that you need. And that's why the counselors are standing by to answer all the questions that you may have. So today is the deadline. If you have not already filed your taxes, you've got requested an extension, this is the day to have that done. So if you need some help because you're struggling with dealing with the IRS and your taxes, always reach out to the taxpayer advocate. They are there to help. They're there all year long for any problems that you may have. And you can reach the taxpayer advocate at 877-777-4778. Again, taxpayer advocate's office is 877-777-4778. Now, that falls in line as well with helping to establish your action plan and your budget and getting your debts back on track. You want to make sure that your budget is together, right? And that means covering all angles, all things that you are having problems with. So you want to keep that in mind and know that there is help out there. So what are some of the goals that you're saving for? What are some of the reasons why you want your credit together? You always do need to think about that, because that's what motivates you to keep things on track. And when you're thinking about your budget, your spending plan, your savings, everything that you're doing every single month, right now is the time to think a little bit more about it. And why is that? Because the holidays are coming up. They're fastly approaching, and there are a lot of money drains that are out there too. So over the next few weeks, we'll get into a lot of the different money drains that are out there that people fall victim to, and make sure that you're aware and then you know what's going on with your finances, with your debt, your money, and you're making smart money choices. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could get a mortgage even if I have collection accounts on my credit report.
Well, that is a really good question. And again, it depends on what your goals are as far as getting a mortgage. Now, anyone, if you want to qualify for a mortgage, just know that you do need to have your score in order. If you've got older collections, a lot of times you may not need to pay all of those off. And a lot of times we put more into getting a mortgage than we think, but we do need to make sure that we have ourselves together. So when you're looking for a mortgage, the things that you want to make sure that you have together are your credit report and your credit score. So think about your credit score for a moment. In order to get a mortgage, you need your score to be at least a 580 in order to qualify for an FHA mortgage. And if you're looking for a conventional mortgage, then you need your score to be at least 620. And you may be wondering, hey, what's the difference between an FHA and a conventional mortgage? We'll go over that a little bit more next week as we get into home ownership. But keep in mind, you need a 580. Now, if you've got collections, a lot of times if you have a score of 580, that means that you've got those collections on your account, on your credit report, or you've just let your credit just sit stagnant like we talked about a little bit earlier. So what can you do with those collections? If you're looking to get a mortgage, and again, we're thinking about the last 24 months worth of history, making sure that we have things on track, because we want to say what happened 2 years ago. If you got those collection bills that are older than that, I would not worry about it unless the amount is a huge amount. think about it, like if you got collection bills that total anything over $2,000, then you may want to start to worry about paying some of those off. Anything under that, I wouldn't stress about it at all. If you have a recent collection account on your credit report, let's say it just hit maybe in April, that's something that you do want to look at paying off or working out arrangements with. You don't necessarily need to pay it the full way off, but if you're making monthly payments on it to make that debt less, then that's something you can think about too. So there's a couple of different options for that. Also, the best thing you can do is talk to someone to get help when you're looking for a mortgage. You want to look at talking with a mortgage loan officer, or you want to look at talking to a credit counselor like the ones that are there at Family Credit. So if you've got any questions, feel free to call and ask about that, because that is very important with helping us achieve our goals, making sure we get the right help, right? So with you dealing with collection agencies, when you're dealing with trying to pay off older debt, you may want to take a look at when those things last happened. When was the time that you made a payment, last time you made a payment, and how long that debt's been sitting on your credit report. Reason why I say that is because sometimes a lot of people think, well, in order for me to get a house, I need to pay off all my collection agencies, all my collection debt, and then I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to get a house. But when you think about it, sometimes like I said, you may not have to pay that debt off. And then if you've made any type of payment on a collection account that's been sitting on your report for a year or for a couple of years, and you haven't done anything with it, but you just now make a payment and you don't really pay it all the way off, guess what happens? It starts the time frame of the date you last paid all over. So that way, that collection agency is going to sit on your credit a lot longer. Also, sometimes when you pay off older debt and you haven't done anything positive to boost your score, it does reduce your score. It does drop your score a little bit more. And you might have thought that paying off that old debt would do you some good. So it's best to talk to a professional about it. See what you actually need to do. And the counselors are standing by at Family Credit. You can reach them at 800-994-3328 or go online to familycredit.org. So next week we'll be talking about home ownership and your saving goals and saving plans to help you achieve the American dream. Again, we will talk to you again. You have a good week, and if you've got any other questions, come back next week.